I need to dig through my card book. I might have that other Capital guy's card in here. I've got some cleaner pants I can put on. That look better?
Okay, so wait till I get over here.
Yeah, that could be, I mean, that's the only future for this world, is to go into space and having, I've been trying to get a hold of Elon Musk, the owner of SpaceX and Tesla. Well, I'd like to maybe sit down on camera and smoke a joint with him, like, yeah, and get spaced out and then go there. You know, like I said, our government asked me to lead our research into traveling into space.
Why didn't you do that?
Well, I'd love to, but I'm in the world for music. We got to learn how to get along first. You know, we can't go out there, you know, trying to bomb the hell out of everything we see. You know, they're not going to go for that. So that's the most important thing, is people learn how to get along through music. It's like I told my son, you know, I told him I've had some dreams that I could help with this virus, but I told him there's no amount of money they could pay me that would be worth what I'm able to come up with. I mean, if they said I was one of the 7 top minds, why won't they let me talk to the other 6? They let me talk to one, but she doesn't have any kind of science mind. Well, I don't even know, they didn't even tell me if she's one of the top 7, but she had tremendous psychic ability. She'd actually had some experiences with UFOs. Either that or they coached her to say what she said. Like I said, she wasn't mechanically minded to where she's not gonna, she wouldn't be in the UFO looking at the mechanics of it, you know. She's in there trying to read their horoscope or something, you know. I don't know. I think we ought to build a damn factory in Switzerland to build these spacecraft.
Why Switzerland?
Well, they haven't been in war since the 1800s. I think the early 1800s. And so, and they're the biggest ones that goes around the world and trying to negotiate peace. And, you know, obviously they're more interested in peace, and we're going to have to be peaceful in order to go out there in the cosmos. These other beings out there, I don't think they're going to go for us going out there and raping and pillaging and bombing and, you know, all the shit we do. You know, they want to make money with them. You know, if this pandemic doesn't let people know, say, hey, you know, this thing could kill everybody. This could wipe us out. If we'd have developed this UFO technology, we could have been in the other solar systems by now. These people here, I mean, that's what they do. That's how they make their money, by fighting and arguing, and they use money to enslave people. And one of them government guys, I suspect, came by last week, and I told him, you know, how I came up with had some dreams about this virus, and that the first thing I thought of the first dream when I woke up was that, well, there's too many people, and then I thought about how mad I am at them screwing with me. They obviously don't realize that by us degrading the environment like we are, that's why that virus is here. It isn't here for just the hell of it. It's here because we're destroying the ecosystem, and it's here to destroy us. Let me grab this lawnmower and drag it up here.
Yeah.
I might grab this one. Well, let me grab this other one. Shit. I was in the 2nd grade, and we lived in Nellis Air Force Base, home of the Blue Angels. It's right outside of Las Vegas, Nevada. And two of my toys, I think that was all the toys I had. You know how you are when you're a kid, you throw stuff up in the air. Is this light screwing you up?
No, you're good.
And, you know, you get bored with your toys, so you start throwing them up in the air. And I'd accidentally threw them up on the roof of our house. And the roof was like this, and then the electrical pole went through the roof, and then the electric wire was about that far above the roof. So I had a hold of the metal pole below the roof, and the only way I could get on the house, because there's not a whole lot of trees in Las Vegas, was to you know, get my hand and grab the top of the pole that the electric wires come to from the telephone pole, and pull myself up there. You know, there were educational cartoons when we was a kid, because I remember the cartoons, and the guy he'd get on the power line and he'd get stuck. He'd be going, ah, and he'd be, you know, changing, you know, right. And so I learned from that. And that's the last thing I kind of almost remember something. But the next thing I remembered, it knocked me out, was me hitting the ground. And I was in the same position I was when I touched that thing. Well, the ground felt good. I mean, the first thing was that I'm alive, you know, and I felt all that electricity run out of my body into the ground, through my back. You know, I remember something, you know, really major when I hit it, but you know, I didn't remember much because it knocked me smooth out in a heartbeat. But
So yeah, what changed?
oh, and then after that, you know, after I recovered, they started calling me dynamite and firecracker. So after that, in the 3rd grade, I started having these dreams of science and stuff. And, you know, and when I'd wake up, I'd be so excited that I knew that it was of major importance. And I'd go tell my mom, and because she's the only one I really trusted. I didn't hardly talk when I was a kid. I was real shy. And then I started having these dreams that I could fly. And man, it was so exciting. And if I got into it, I could really soar. I just really have to just emotionally be super enthusiastic about it. And if I got downhearted or doubting or negative, I'd come to the ground. And I kept, you know, I'd had like my second dream like that, and went and told her, and I was so excited. And I put the words in the song. It goes, and my mom says, "You can't fly. Only the birds and bees can fly. You're just a little boy imagining things." So, you know, after she told me that, I couldn't fly anymore. And that was really a bummer, because anybody that's had a dream of flying, that's really exhilarating. You know, did I tell you the story about my mom getting raped by the cop? And I told you that story. I was 19, and I was sitting in a house, and the cops kicked the door down, and the 2 guys that owned the house was 17, and there was a stolen car in the driveway, and, you know, there was all kinds of pills in there. I mean, not a lot, you know, but a bunch of felonies. And because I'm the only one over 18, they stick all the charges on me. You know, I'm looking at 20 years to life. And my dad found out somehow that I was in there and bailed me out. And my mom chipped in, I guess, once she realized he was going to bail me out and that she wasn't going to be able to get me. I wasn't going to get to go to Bethlehem this time. But so after that, she got raped by a guy, and there was a serial rapist, and the Daily Oklahoman had a $10,000 reward for him. And I snuck in my mom's house because we wasn't getting along, and I wasn't allowed over there. And she'd come home. She's living at her boyfriend's house, and saw me there, and told me that she's calling the cops. I wasn't supposed to be there, and I said, "Well, go ahead and call the cops, because no one's going. We may not be getting along, but no one's going to rape. No one's going to kill my mom." because this guy had broke into the house. He'd broke a window out 5 times in 2 months. I mean, he told her that if she called the cops, he'd come back and kill her. I mean, I think if there's 5 windows broke out, he wasn't kidding. And he was a cop. I caught him. Something told me to go look out the front window. I looked out the front window and there was a Volkswagen mini station wagon going by kind of slow down Meridian, and I'm thinking, I knew that was him. I could feel it. And my sister, you know, I told her, I brought this up to her because she's forgot a bunch of things, and she goes, oh no, he was a military cop, an MP. And I go, he's a cop. It pissed her off today, talking about how the government here's, you know, conning and cheating and legally screwing poor people because they know that you can't get $2,000 up to sue them when they screw you. And she's going, well, how would you like to have a socialist country, huh? Where they just take everything from you. And I go, well, they do. If you're poor, they take everything. And a lot of times they send you to prison. I was at the boating deal one time, and there was a lady had a van, and she had it loaded up with these vegetated elderly people, and she, you know, this got the little separators, and it's a big folding table, and so you're sitting right, and she's going, now Jim, you know you always vote straight line Republican, and she like gets his hand, and I'm like, okay. Someone was saying that when they put this country together, they figured they was going to rehash everything in 50 years, but, you know, and try to change things when they figured out how to do things better. But yeah, the whole system's, it's hopelessly broke.